In 1964, the tragic murder of Kitty Genovese in Queens, New York, sparked a psychological revelation that changed how we view human nature. Initial reports claimed 38 witnesses heard her screams and did nothing. While modern historians have since debunked the exact details of that night, the core psychological phenomenon it revealed is very real, and it lives inside every single person watching this video right now. Those witnesses and people like them were not monsters. They were not cruel. They were ordinary human beings who, in any other moment, would have rushed to help a stranger in danger. But something happened to them. Something invisible. This is deindividuation. And it is the most dangerous force in human psychology. Deindividuation is not just a theory. It is a measurable psychological state that occurs when personal identity dissolves inside a group. The word itself breaks down simply. Individuation. The removal of the individual. When you stand alone, you are fully yourself. You have an aim, a reputation, a conscience, a face that people recognize. You are accountable for every choice you make, and that accountability keeps your behavior anchored to your values. But step into a crowd, and something begins to shift. The larger the group, the stronger the effect. In a stadium of 50,000 people, you are no longer John or Sarah. You are a face in a sea of faces. Anonymous, invisible, unreachable. Psychologists Philip Zimbardo and Leon Festinger mapped this phenomenon across decades of research. They found that anonymity does not merely reduce the fear of punishment. It actually changes how you see yourself. When you believe you cannot be identified, the moral standards you normally enforce upon yourself begin to loosen. Not because you are evil, because the part of your brain that monitors your behavior, the self-regulating mechanism that whispers this is wrong, starts to quiet down. This is why a person who would never steal alone will loot a store during a riot. This is why a student who would never bully a classmate alone will join a hallway of tormentors. The group provides cover. But more dangerously, the group provides permission. In 1971, Philip Zimbardo conducted the Stanford Prison Experiment, one of the most famous and controversial studies in psychology. He took ordinary college students, screened them for psychological stability, and randomly assigned half to be prisoners and half to be guards in a simulated jail. Within hours, the guards began to abuse the prisoners. Within days, the abuse escalated to psychological torture. Now, modern psychology rightly critiques this study, noting that the researchers' own expectations may have influenced the outcome. But the core phenomenon it exposed remains undeniable in real-world systems. When interviewed afterward, the guards expressed genuine shock at their own behavior. They were not sociopaths. They were ordinary young men who simply stepped into a role and found that the role swallowed who they used to be. The uniforms mattered. The sunglasses mattered. The removal of personal names, replaced by numbers for prisoners and titles for guards, mattered. Every element of the experiment was designed to strip away individual identity and replace it with a group function. And it worked faster than anyone predicted. This is deindividuation in its purest form. Not just a crowd in the street, but any system that removes your name, your face, and your personal accountability, and replaces them with a number, a uniform, or a collective cause. It opens the door to behavior you would never recognize as your own. Let us look at a darker, real-world example. During the 1992 Los Angeles riots, 53 people died and thousands were injured. Researchers who studied the riots found a distinct pattern. The violence was not evenly distributed. It clustered in areas where anonymity was highest, where the crowd was densest, and where the normal structures of identity, neighborhood recognition, and family presence had broken down. People who were seen by someone they knew were significantly less likely to participate in the destruction. Visibility was the antidote. Anonymity was the poison. Today, this same pattern appears in our digital spaces, amplified by technology. The comment section of any viral post demonstrates deindividuation in real time. A person typing behind a username, with no face, no real name, and no community accountability, will say things they would never say to another human being across a dinner table. The screen becomes the crowd. The username becomes the mask. and the mask permits the cruelty that I in fact. Protecting your digital identity and peace of mind in this hyper-connected world is more critical than ever. That is exactly why I am grateful to our sponsor for supporting this channel. They help you maintain your security and privacy online, allowing you to stay informed and connected without letting the noise and toxicity of the digital crowd compromise your daily life. Check out the link in the description to learn how you can take back control of your digital footprint. Moderation is not weakness. It is calibration. And modern neuroscience has begun to explain exactly why this happens at the biological level. When you are part of a group, your brain's prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for impulse control, moral reasoning, and long-term consequence evaluation, shows reduced activity. Simultaneously, the amygdala, the emotional and reactive center, becomes more active. You are literally thinking less and reacting more. Researchers using brain imaging have found that group membership suppresses activity in the medial prefrontal cortex, the exact area associated with self-reflection and moral judgment. The brain treats the group as an extension of the self, but a self without the usual breaks. This is not an excuse. It is a warning. Your brain is wired to conform under group pressure. The wiring is ancient, rooted in survival mechanisms that favored tribal cohesion over individual moral complexity. But in the modern world, that wiring can be hijacked by any crowd, any movement, or any online mob that offers you anonymity in exchange for your conscience that asks, oh, how do you protect yourself? The research is clear, and it is uncomfortable. The only reliable defense against deindividuation is forced individuation. You must deliberately reclaim your identity in moments when the group is trying to absorb it. This means speaking your name, even internally, when you feel the pull of the crowd. It means making eye contact with individuals rather than losing yourself in the mass. It means asking yourself, out loud if necessary, would I do this if I were alone? Would I do this if my family were watching? Would I do this if my real name were attached to this action? History shows us that the people who resist mob mentality are not stronger or smarter than anyone else. They are simply the ones who refuse to let the group think for them. In the Stanford Prison Experiment, one prisoner broke the spell by declaring, I am not a number. I am a person. In the Milgram obedience studies, the participants who refused to administer fake electric shocks were the ones who physically stood up, broke eye contact with the authority figure, and reasserted their personal boundaries. The antidote is not complicated. It is visibility. It is accountability. It is the relentless, deliberate choice to remain an individual when everything around you is trying to make you part of a machine. The next time you find yourself in a crowd, online or in the street, feeling the pressure to agree, to participate, or to stay silent when you should speak, remember this. The group cannot make you do anything. It can only make you forget that you have a choice. Deindividuation is not a prison. It is a door that you leave open. Close it. Know your name. Own your face. And never let the crowd do your thinking for you. Because the most dangerous person in a mob is not the one shouting the loudest. It is the one who remembers they are still human that I am curious. Have you ever caught yourself feeling the pull of a digital or physical crowd and had to actively remind yourself of your own values? Let me know in the comments below. Your perspective adds to our collective awareness.